Pivot tables in Excel can be a quick way to analyse data, especially when it's long lists of data. Now, I've only got a short list here, but I'm going to take you through how we can have a look at this. So first of all, my information is in a complete table and I want to use all of it. So I don't actually need to select it. Whereas if I was only using maybe these columns, you would select it before creating the pivot table. But for mine, just make sure you're somewhere in it and go Insert, Pivot Table. Now, you can bring them in from external sources. That's a lot more complicated. We're just using this table. So from table. And so you'll see Excel has actually highlighted the table for you. So it knows it's the data here. And now we can choose where we want to put it. You can choose whether you want to use this a new worksheet or just on the existing one. I'm just going to use a new worksheet. It just gives me a second sheet. So we click on OK. Now it doesn't put anything in it because it doesn't know what we want, but we can add the data that we're wanting. So I'm just going to pop back and think, what would I want to know from this? And I'm going to look for the total sales by salesperson. So it would be total sales by salesperson. So what I can do is, first of all, I drag salesperson. And that's where you see it brings all the salespeople down here. And the total sales, I just stick in values. Now, it's clever enough when you put it in there to change it to sum of total sales. We can put average, min, max and things in there, but most likely you want to total it. And that's the very first pivot table. Then you can start to add other things. So let's go back to our data. Maybe we want to know for each region, because I'm assuming that there's different salespeople in each region. What we could do is we could put region on the column headers. So now we can see for each salesperson what they've sold in each region. So we can change. And if we want to move things around, so say we wanted region down the way and salesperson across the way, we can just drag them on this bit at the side. And that's now put it there. Now, if this pivot table options disappears, it's because you're not clicked in the pivot table. So I've clicked outside it, it's all disappeared, click back in it. But you've also got two new menus you can use. You've got pivot table analyze and pivot table design. So we're going to have a look at a couple of options in here. That is the basic information. Now we can add in dates. So I'm just going to swap this round a bit. I don't want region anymore, so you can just drag it out. Just drag it across. I'm going to put date along the columns, and now you'll see what they've sold in January and what they've sold in February. But these have got little plus signs because if you click the plus, it actually takes it down to each day. And if I go again, it will put the date underneath. So Excel's clever enough to group them all, but that's only because the dates are in as dates. If they're just in as text, that wouldn't work. So that now shows us for here. There is another thing you can add on, and it's called a slicer. So if I choose Insert Slicer, I could then just add this slicer for region. If I click on OK, and I'll just move it up a bit and just make it look a bit tidier. I can now use this to what they call slice and dice my data. So I just want to have a look at the sales just for the north region. If I just click north, and it just takes it down to there. If I change it to south, west, and east. So we can do it that way, but what we can also do is have multiples. So say you just wanted the south and the north. If you click on this little box here, you can get south and north, and that will show you, oh, and east is still on. So this allows multiple selection, and when it's not switched on, it's just a single selection. So I'm just going to clear all of that, so you can just clear that filter. So you can use the slicer at the side. A few other things, if I click back in here and go to design, you can change the different colors that you want. You can tell it not to show subtotals, not show all subtotals. So this is more on the formatting side. So the design is for the formatting side. So if I click here, I can take off some headers and it just takes off a bit of the design. But on the analyze, that's where we find the slicer. If you need to refresh the data, maybe you've changed some of the data on here, you can refresh it. You can also turn off the field list and on. So I've found before that it's disappeared. I've clicked and think, why is it not there? It's turned off at the top. But not really a lot else in a very basics that you would use within here.